fight has begun over how to clean up the Chesapeake Bay. A bill in Congress would require a federal cleanup plan for the bay by the end of 2010. Also, it would require the states to then develop their own plans. Farm groups are opposed to the bill, considering it over-regulation. Joining us now to discuss the issue is Hobie Bowen, president of the Virginia Poultry Federation, and by phone is Roy Hoagland, vice president for environmental protection and restoration of the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Now, Hobie, the Virginia Poultry Federation is opposed to this legislation. Why?
We're concerned because this legislation replaces a cooperative, flexible approach to the bay cleanup with rigid deadlines, burdensome regulations that could be counterproductive to cleanup of the bay. Farmers have done a great job implementing conservation practices. That was the testimony of EPA yesterday. You know, we want to do the right thing, but we've seen population growth skyrocket at the same time that we've seen farmland disappear. An acre of farmland delivers far less pollution to the bay than the paved over impervious surfaces of development. So farmers operate on very thin margins, and we're just concerned that this is going to impose regulations that are going to accelerate the conversion of farmland to other uses that are going to have a greater impact on the Chesapeake Bay.
Now, Roy, why does the Chesapeake Bay Foundation favor this bill?
Well, this bill is a response to the need that we're far behind our goals in reducing pollution. Hobie's right when he says that there has been progress within the agricultural community. He's incorrect, however, when he says that this bill replaces a cooperative approach with inflexible approach with rigid deadlines. What this bill does is codifies the process that EPA is already pursuing to develop a pollution budget, which is called a total maximum daily loading, but a pollution budget for the bay and its waters. And that budget is going to require all sources of pollution, not just agriculture, but the growth and development that Hobie highlights, air deposition, all of these sources of pollution, we're going to have reduce the pollution more, and they're going to have to do it more quickly. So this statute sets in motion this TMDL, this pollution diet, pollution budget, but gives the states flexibility as to how they meet that diet. So the state will have a certain amount of pollution it needs to reduce. The state will have its own choice as to how to get to that goal. But it does hold the states accountable on what the goal is and by the time period. And that's already in process through EPA's TMDL arena.
And in response to that, Roy, I'd just say that, again, the statute is going to impose rigid deadlines and firm caps that are going to limit growth, and it's going to allow very little room for economically sensible decision making, the use of sound science in coming up with the best innovative approaches to improving the condition of the Chesapeake Bay.
Well, Hobie, this is one-on-one, so I guess it's one-on-one with you and me, and I think the correct conclusion is that this bill incorporates the TMDL, the pollution budget, that's already in process, that is in fact based on sound science. In the Bay watershed, we have in fact the best science, Bob, of any estuarine system in the world. We know what the problems are, we know what we have to do to solve them, and this ensures that we get there in a reasonable time frame. We have already lost, gone past a 2,000-year deadline. This bill gives the states until 2025 to reach the goals that we have scientifically determined are necessary to have healthy waters in Virginia and in the Bay.
Well, I would question why the Chesapeake Bay model, upon which much of this is based, does not account for numerous BMPs that have been implemented in Virginia and is based on assumptions that I would question. I think that there does need to be a lot more scientific research and data collected and analysis made before we can jump into regulatory approaches that are, stand to put farms out of business.
Well, Roy, question: you're saying the voluntary approach up till now hasn't worked?
I'm saying the voluntary approach has not brought us enough reductions soon enough. we have, and Hobie knows this, and Hobie's organization has been a great partner with us in terms of trying to get sustainable amounts of cost share funding for the agricultural community in Virginia. We were the lead in getting for agriculture a first time ever farm bill provision for the Chesapeake Bay.
But you feel requirements now are necessary.
What is different, I think, is that we feel that there's got to be a balance of solutions, and some of those solutions will be ensuring that agriculture does do certain baselines. Virginia has established 5 top priorities.
All right. Okay, well, time is up. Hobie Bowne of the Virginia Poultry Federation and Roy Hoagland of the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, thank you both for joining us.
It was a pleasure.
And now let's send it to